Good morning. Happy Sunday. Good morning to all the participants who are on time. Some of them were logged in even at 10:30. Some are joined us at 10:45. Welcome once again. So, Forum of Critical Utility Services. In short, it's called FOCUS. So, this society was born on 2020. So, our first chairman or the president was Mr. V. Suresh, who is today's chairman of National Building Code. So all the professionals from across the country, from various fields, joined together and founded this society. And these people are the people who started various associations like ISRE, ASHRE, IPA, and the FSAI. So all those people who started the large institution today are the backbone of this society called Focus. So why Focus? So in the face of escalating urbanization and climate change, the necessity for a society like Focus has never been more pronounced. As cities grow and environmental challenges intensify, there is an urgent need for integrated solutions that addresses the complex interdependencies of infrastructure, technology, and sustainability. So Focus emerges as a visionary entity poised to lead transformation in the built environment sector by promoting innovative practices, sustainable development, and resilience against future challenges. So, lot many people asking, you have so many societies. We have fire society, we have air conditioning society, we have plumbing society, we have a security society. So, with all this, what Focus is going to do? So, people keep asking this, why Focus? So, we are clearly defined. We are not a society competing with any other building services society. We are only complementing their effort. We are complementing their effort to integrate the building services. That's why Focus is. So, as I said, the founder of Focus are all the people who started those societies in India. Focus has a very clear vision and mission. So, what the mission? Focus and mission is a world where synergy between innovation, technology transform the built environment, leading to sustainable, resilient, and intelligent utility service of a prosperous tomorrow. That's our vision, very clear vision. And our mission is to foster collaboration among stakeholders, drive technological advancements, and implement sustainable practices that contribute to the prosperous tomorrow. We achieve this by providing applied research, education, and advocacy, facilitating a platform for innovation and promoting policies that support the transition to sustainable, resilient, and intelligent built environment. So our vision is very clear, our mission is very clear. So there's no confusion, there's no conflict of interest with any other society. And I will not like to read this. Our strategic goal set by our current president and Ashish Rakeja and the management committees, we have set 4 clear goals. What we need to achieve in next 2 years. And our area of focus is very clearly given: technology integration and innovation, sustainable development and ESG principles, resilient and adaptive strategies, education and upskilling. These are the key focus area of focus. So, my dear friends who joined on time, I would request, take this opportunity. Look at focus, look at our vision and mission. Look at people who are behind this society. Join us because your expertise, your profession may help us to speed up our vision and mission. So your involvement in the society can build our nation as a most developed nation. So I urge everyone, it's hardly anything. We have a life member of 10,000 rupees. We have individual member, just 1,000 rupees an annual, less than a cost of a pizza that we order. And we have a corporate member of 5,000 rupees annually. So Please do join, and we continue to conduct various programs that can help your professional practices. So, who are those current the today's managing committee people? We have Ashish Rakeja, a well-known MEP consultant, uh, and also the director of Ashtray Asia. So we have Dr. Valen, who is the CEO of Cbros Chennai, and wealth of experience he has, and Mr. Architect Sandeep Shikre, one of the top 10 architects in the country, and is spearheading and is inspiring, gentlemen, and who keep motivating us to come together and the development of the regional of Western region for focus. So he's giving a lot of emphasizing the importance of focus in those region. Of course, today's speaker, our Jatin, architect Jatin Shah, is here. He's going to talk to us. He's also a very tall leader when it comes to project management and his expertise, and a very well-known face in the industry. And myself here, I come from 35 years of fire industry experience, and my colleague as a general secretary, Mr. Ravi Shankar Thandavan. Again, he's come from security industry background for over 20 years. So these are our managing committees of focus. And today, Sunday, 18th of August, we are talking about how is the future shaping up when it comes to construction management, the role of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Very interesting topic. We have two speakers today, and Jatin is an architect by profession and have done his master in project management from School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. With over 22 years of experience, he has handled projects across all asset classes, including hospital, hotels, mixed-use development in India, Malaysia, and Rwanda. Jatin has partnered with various developers and architects to deliver the project with this knowledge on design management and procurement. And his clients have gained advantage of his experience. With Colliers, Jatin is a Chief Strategy Officer, MD of Technical Due Diligence of Colliers. He works closely with investor funds, occupiers, and developers. As I introduced, he is the Vice President of Focus. We have another speaker and also our technology sponsor today, knowledge partner of today's webinar, DP Srini, has over 25 years of diverse experience of being entrepreneur, founding venture in tech support, image processing, and video streaming. Experienced in managing 500 plus global tech teams. His passion in sales and marketing gave him keen understanding of world market, leading to creation of strategic and innovative idea, which made him a serial entrepreneur. Co-founder and CEO of Durang King, the leading provider of AI video surveillance and analytics as a service. He has been instrumental in shaping the product design and features and providing market insight. So in the past, we conducted various webinars on the platform of Blue and Grey, which is my company. And today he joined hand with Focus. Durang also is a corporate member of Focus. So they have been involved with Focus in many areas. And I want to thank Durang being the knowledge partner for today's session. And I now welcome our speaker. I'm going to unshare the screen. And hello. So over to Jatin. It's your ground.
Thank you so much, Dominic, for a warm introduction. And good morning, folks. I have a small presentation for you guys today. Dominic said too many words about me, good words, but we all have learned together and grown together in this field. This area of project management is something I love. And today's topic on AI and ML in design and construction management, which is transforming the industry, is important for us to understand very basic and very nuances of what we are doing in the industry today across the globe. There are various startups who are done doing phenomenal work in this field. All of you should be aware that construction is one of the slowest adopter of any technology. The field of construction. It's not because we don't want to do it, but I think we are patient enough to first understand the technology and then try and adopt it in a fashion or in a manner which helps us quite a lot. Civil engineering or architecture by profession is one of the most established profession in this country. The kind of work which we are doing or in the landscape of real estate, all of us together is phenomenal, and we should be very proud of ourselves on this. A very basic pointer on what is AI and ML. We all know about it, but it relates to simulation of human intelligence, right? Which is the processing of a lot of data by machines. Data today, all of you know, has become a gold mine. Whoever has data and whoever can analyze the data and whoever can produce a responsible output against that data is going to be the next billionaire. So I'm sure one of you are in this pan and this in this country will are going to walk that path. We also learn how do we analyze this data. So we basically write a lot of algorithms, and then computer starts learning from us, and that's how the data starts becoming more and more meaningful. The initial data are not very great, but when you start analyzing more and more data coming in, it becomes a nice tool for us to be ready for what we can do and how we can do. Uh, Today, I'm sure all of you know that Siri and Alexa learn a lot from us, and that's where we are today as well. Uh, Moving to the next slide, uh, I have distributed this presentation into three parts. One is on what we can do in architectural during the design management phase, what we can do during procurement phase, and what we can do during construction phase. And then Srini, who is an expert himself in this field, will talk about what cameras can do during quality and safety checks about it. Uh, Generative designs, as we all know, is picking up quite a lot of algorithms. Today, we are in a position where if you just freeze a layout, an architecture layout, the design or the some of the algorithms or some of the platforms can actually generate and throw you open various options of the layout. I will walk you through a very quickly on a small YouTube video, which will talk about what's happening in this field. Mind you, this is only just to let you know what all is happening in this field and what can happen. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of work which is happening here. Uh, the details, the links, the the way the generative designs can happen. This is a bots which can create. Uh, this is a there's a you can look at the section of this. So basically, you can see that there's a lot of generative design which you can happen. You can create and you can choose the sections which you want to do it with the help of this design. You can uh, this is the urban design platforms which are happening where a lot of feedback on solar path analysis, how the layouts can be shrunk, how the layouts can be engineered properly is all available. This tools are available with the architectural feedbacks which we work on. You can look at the multiple options which this layout can generate for you, looking at the various locations of the cores at the various shapes, and it can also start giving you the data on how much is the net usable area. This platform which you talk about is basically an analysis of how and where the lesser carbon footprint will be, or how the sunlight and daylight can be moved in. So in this kind of layout, you can even generate a 3D moving locations. You can change the patterns, you can change the size, you can change the color of the schemes, and that's what Asian Paint has very nicely adopted. There are various platforms which are like architectures, Finch, Spatio, Layout, who are incredibly doing a lot of work on this. Coming to Finch as an example, where architects can just give a layout inside and choose from multiple options of how this small L-shaped rectangular box can be laid out. in terms of, as I mentioned to you earlier, about where can be the lesser, least carbon production. So more the meeting rooms together, more the number of people together, lesser the spaces, you can start generating a various layout. It can also talk about how, based on sunpath analysis, we can fragment the shapes and sizes of various layouts. We can talk about from where the daylights are coming in, and analysis and analytics can be said. This is what I was talking about, of various actual figures and data. You can look at how in the Revit model we can look at differentiate the shape and overall at an urban level, how it starts impacting the building size, building shape, building layouts, etc., etc. Same kind of work is what another company called Layout is doing. They are doing phenomenal work with WeWork, where you feed a layout, an architectural layout, and you can start looking at different customized templates, which can be looked at the workstation layouts. It can start looking at the meeting room layouts. It can start looking at the cabin layouts, etc. So moving forward, this is where people are phenomenally working on orientation, 3D modeling, 3D visualization. So kind of work which these guys are doing helps our tenant leasing team or an architect so quickly generate multiple options for an end user. Sometimes it takes 7 to 10 days if you hire a agency to do it. But with this layout, you can in 2 to 3 days time, various options can be generated. So this is a kind of phenomenal work which people are doing in this space, which can create your building shapes, sizes, help you in smart sketchings, help you in generative designs, etc., etc. So I will skip over very quickly to the back to my screen again. Similar front, there is a lot of work happening on the energy efficiency and optimization. A lot of work is being done by various tools where, as I was talking about, where we spoke about how the sunlight and daylight was happening, analysis was happening, or the carbon monoxide analysis was happening on a space, which was giving with the ESG becoming a very important factor, wellness becoming a very important factor, different layouts were getting generated. A similar fashion is what's happening on the energy efficiency tools. And Dominic has been having a lot of seminars around this. There have been a lot of works happening on how to optimize the insulation, how to optimize the natural lighting, how to optimize and create more efficient structures. Or AR and VR, we all know, has tremendously changed the real estate landscape. Today, sitting at your home place in your houses, we can visualize a space completely. We can change the colors, we can change the material palettes. With the AR and VR, L&T in Chennai have created a platform where you can walk, and before at the design stage itself, live models can be created, and where architects and consultants can walk together to understand, is there a clash detection, is there an issue which is happening which can be corrected before even it's built. So what all it does, this is all bringing in efficiencies, this is all bringing in kind of work which architects were doing, and we are trying to not to redo the works again and again because of the issues which keep coming up. So you are catching up the potential problems which were available at the site longer times ago, and you're trying to make data out of that and trying to create that what end user with his preferences would be wanting to do. A similar kind of work has been done by Autodesk, which is basically a dream catcher, and I would like to show you that designs a video of that also, because that's something which is very interesting. And most of you are on the Google, you can look at this on the Autodesk dream catcher, which is again based on various constraints and based on various specifics which are available. A range of alternatives have been generated by Autodesk Dreamcatcher. On a similar note, with the Autodesk Insights, you can generate again energy performance issues. So Autodesk, from a traditional company which was supplying just an AutoCAD software, which most of the architects and structural engineers have been using, or the MEP and consultants have been using, have now moved to a company which is globally acquiring a lot of the startups which are working on similar kind of AI and ML related tasks and tools. Very quick one. Again, I will skip and I will share with you the Autodesk Dream Creature Moving forward, this is one of the great thing. Just to let you also know about how the data is further helping and optimizing the MEP designs. Earlier, most of you would be knowing that we were all working on a power requirement of say 10 VA per square feet. Who are associated with the real estate and the RFPs, every client used to come back and say that I need a power requirement of 10 VA per square feet. Today, with the kind of data which we have available and with the kind of work which we are doing across multiple cities and multiple ranges, we have been able to bring the power down from a 10 VA per square feet to a 5 VA per square feet or 6 VA per square feet. This is a humongous reduction of the load and energy optimization which is happening. Likewise, there's a lot of work happening on the HVAC field. Likewise, there's a lot of work happening on how the location of CCTV cameras should be. So a lot of work on generative designs, on the theory of the designs is being translated with the help of data into architectural design. Gone are the days when we used to wait for data to come in. Today, with the help of data which is available, architects and consultants are able to analyze it and put it forward that this is what we can do around it. Similarly, on the structural analysis, if you look at the kind of work which has happened, and we have moved ahead from we are still there with this TAD and with the other files, but NSS has done a fantastic work on a kind of material selection which can be done. NSS basically is an agency or a startup which is working on the field of which is a material which you can choose in your vicinity, and how much of you saw. I showed you something which was called optimization of the I-beam designs which were happening. So if you look at a column currently as a consultant, you will know that for this kind of structure which you're talking about, your section size should be X and Y. But with the help of NSS, you can actually now optimize that what can the best material from various suppliers which is available, what are the section sizes which they have or which they are producing it, and how much of usage of that section size can actually help you to reduce your carbon footprint from a analysis of from where this material is coming in, how that can be translated back on an ESG mode, and how basically an optimization in terms of performance and in terms of efficiencies can be brought in. A similar kind of work which is happening is with SkySafe. SkySafe is generating 3D models and entirely on a very efficient. It can talk about where the column sizes should be, where the column should be placed, where should the beams comes in, and these are the preferences of the consultants which are being modulated on a structural analysis, and that's why it's bringing in more efficiency in terms of performances, more efficiency in terms of durability, and more efficiencies in terms of making sure that your carbon footprints are there without compromising on the safety and the codal requirements of this. These are early stages of NSS and early stages of SkySIP, but as you move forward, you will see a lot of this adoption happening more in this part of the world also. Our country again needs to start learning on all these developments. We are still asking all the startups happening from outside our country, but some work is happening inside our country also, and I would in my subsequent slides like to show that. Um, in terms of procurement management, we all have moved forward from a normal, across the table procurements which are happening versus what people are doing around is now everything is online. You can have your data online, you can have your BOQs online, your quotations can be online, and there is a reverse auction policy which is being referred to by most of the companies now, because it brings in a lot of transparency, it curtails ethical issues which the industry faces, and that's how you are able to select one of the best vendors at the best quoted prices. This is a large database again a lot of startups are working on, and in India particularly the procurement softwares have picked up quite phenomenally. On the similar sides as the cost management softwares, which you have multiple BOQs which are being generated, and you don't an architect just needs to input his drawings, and from there your electrical BOQs, your plumbing BOQs can be generated. At least the shapes and sizes of the lens can be generated, and it creates a lot of opportunities around it. moving forward on the construction management bit, we have done a lot of work on automation at Colliers, and this is something which we have adopted in most of our projects. I would just quickly run a video around it. I hope. So basically, if you look at it, this is the way we have done this is that you have something which is called, you can analyze how many labors are moving in, what is the labor strength which is moving in, which company labor has moved in. We from the BIM and Revit model which has been generated, we are able to do a complete safety recognition, and Ashini is going to talk about this at a later slide. But with the help of Cogents, we have created BIM models, we have created resource management. It creates logs of how many people have been are there at site. Gone are the days where we really need to worry about how many people have moved, how many people have not moved in. We are able to measure accurately the columns, the verticality, the beams, the verticality, the profitability issues. This video shows is a site at the level where we have physically from the architectural drawings or the BIM model are compared with a walkthrough model. With the help of LiDAR cameras, we are able to scan the entire site and look at how much of shuttering has happened, how much of reinforcement has happened. There are This is all also linked to the schedule and project management part. So automatically we are able to generate as-built conditions and as-built locations of the drawings, and that's the kind of work which we have been doing on this field. Similarly, Procore is also another data analytics which is also working on the same scope, where they are analyzing the delays based on the historical data, based on the current project conditions and external factors which are there, which will affect the construction of the project. So it is no more a project manager's purview. It is someone we have got in a computer specialist, a computer programming specialist, and they are now integrating and working together along with the project management team. Um, when I passed out my architecture, we were about 20 people in my class. And unfortunately, only one of them is now practicing as an architect. Most of us have moved out, and maximum of my batchmates have shifted to computer engineering. And so is the case with a lot of civil engineers of my time. So today, if we really know there's a dearth of good uh, people, there are dearth of good engineers, there are dearth of good architects who want to actually become part of this real estate team. The best way we have analyzed is that let's have the core team together and also get trained computer specialists who are either from a civil engineering background or an architectural background to work together and create a platform where for a client it becomes easier for him to understand, and for us as a project management team also it's easier for us to understand where have we gone wrong, what should be corrected immediately. I will specifically this scans have been done in say we all know when we construct a lift shaft, the alignments of the lift shafts become a big problem, and at a later date when the lift vendor comes in, we start chipping or we start rectifying those lift shafts because they are vertically not as per the tolerance limits. So with the help of Cogents, we have been able to scan exactly the final output of the lift shaft by the contractor as soon as the de-shuttering happens. You compare that with the BIM model, you look at the verticality of it. It itself throws that there are problems in the lift shaft in terms of verticality, and you start correcting it there and there rather than waiting for the lift vendor to come in. These are smaller examples. With the help of data which is coming in from across from our 180 million square feet of sites which we are doing, the data is now being analyzed, and if there is a honeycomb, it immediately picks up the data. The module itself picks up. There's no need for a supervision to happen. The module picks up that there is a honeycomb at that location. How severe is a honeycomb? It also throws back and sends out that signals to the structural consultant directly, and then we start getting the inputs from the structural consultant. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of supervision is going to get automated as we move in. So you would have heard about supervision with the help of drones. Today we are doing 40-story, 50-story structures in our site. It's impossible for a supervisor to go to every site and every location. But with the help of drones, you can actually capture the images of how a facade is getting installed, whether the bolts are there properly or not there, whether the glass is being fixed properly as per the shop drawing, whether your fire stop analysis has been done and that. I'm not saying a supervision can be completely wiped out, but a human intervention with the help of technology, with the help of tools, it can give a more effective solutions to our site, and whatever has to be rectified can be rectified very early on rather than waiting for the last time to happen. Similarly, what Procore is doing is it's with the help of a lot of climatic data which it is collecting. It is able to establish the schedule which will be the right schedule for the project rather than saying that I can do it in 10 months or I will do it in 12 months. With the Procore, you can actually establish that look, here you are today, and these are the climatic data which is there of last 10, 15 years, and with that event is going to happen in your city at this location, your schedule might be little fixed up or little soon up. So this is the data which is happening, and this is the kind of work which people are doing. It took us about 3.5 years to develop Cogence. uh, a lot of investment it happened, but today we have launched it and we have demonstrated it effectively in a couple of our sites, including some of them in Dubai. uh, Moving forward, and also Srini is going to talk about it. I spoke about it briefly about structure. The minor deviations of as low as plus minus 2 mm can be picked up by these algorithms. The tolerance limits are plus minus 10 mm. So we can you can at your level set up the tolerance limits of whether it is plus minus 2 mm, or you can go up to plus minus 10 mm to maintain the quality. uh, Most of you know that when a client moves in, you will see that floors are undulated, and there's a lot of fight which happens on why my screed thicknesses have gone up from 65 mm to 85 mm or 95 mm or 100 mm. But this algorithm, this scannings can now completely scan both the horizontality of the floor and the verticality of the elements to tell you where the undulations are and how you can do the rectification at an earlier date. Similarly, Srini is going to talk about computer vision and facial recognition more on his discussion topic, but it helps you to potentially detect any hazards. If someone is not wearing a PPE, it can immediately throw up an alarm to the safety engineer at site that look, this worker is not wearing a harness or not wearing a helmet, and that's why you're detecting very early on before the incident happens, and you're stopping the works at site at that point of time. So a lot of work, including Kush Vision, is doing this kind of work about it. uh, there are so many benefits of AI, and more the data comes in, we will be able to give much better solutions and much better efficient designs, and will be able to supervise a project much cleaner and much nicer way. It will help us to create a project which is on track, which is as per the quality, and it is for the value which we are adopting to do. It is going to make our construction sites more safer, and for us at Colliers or for anyone else, the biggest advantage is going to be it's going to attract the talent to this industry, which today the industry really wants. And it will be a good semblance of how a computer engineer and how a project team can collaborate together and deliver a project. But however, it also throws up a lot of challenges. Data is at one point of time is a gold, but at the same time there are privacy issues and there are security issues. A lot of investment is happening on how this data which is being collected from various sites is not getting publicized, and it remains with that developer. So this is one issue which a lot of companies are working on, how to create and how to keep the data secure. Of course, there is a huge talent, as I've been mentioning about it, on the workforce. We are working on it together. The initial cost of technology is quite high, but it is so with every technology which comes into the market. But over the next 3 4 years, 5 years, as the scaling up happens, as more and more people get associated, as the more and more startups start working on this, I'm sure the technology costs will go down, and we will see a lot of adoptions happening in this industry. We also need to remember that our courses today are not designed in the colleges to take care of such kind of semblance, because today also you have civil engineering departments, you have architecture departments, but there is very less exposure of our engineers and architects to something which is related to computer engineering or data mining or data system analysis. I think this needs to be changed a little bit, and to get a good result, and so that we don't remain fragmented and we remain efficient around all this. Um, Srini, I would now ask you to take over and talk about what kind of work which you are doing it. But before that, to conclude, this is the future, guys, and we all need to keep our minds open to adopt this technology very efficiently. When I did my architecture in the fifth year, was a time when I was introduced to AutoCAD, which was the final year of architectural design. But today, I think there is a sense of bringing in everyone in the company needs to learn about this and should be open to adopt it to bring in the efficiencies which I've been mentioning about, and work towards bringing the cost down. Moving forward, you would have all seen that how robotics is playing a big uh, thing role in the construction industry. You have already seen a 3D printing of a post office happening in Bangalore. You've also already seen a lot of videos where your plastering can happen on an automated mode, or bricklaying can happen on an automated mode. You've seen precast industries adopting robotics in a huge way, but there is a lot can be done in leaps and bounds to make it more efficient and to bring it more faster. And that's what is the need of the hour. So over to you, Srini.
Thanks, Jatin.
Yeah.
It was, points in some of my slides you already covered, so I'll skip some of them. I mean, it's wonderful to see the industry coming, near to the technology adaptation in terms of what is actually changing. Like you said, construction and building industry got like a lot of depth and wide usage for the AI and ML, but it takes quite an effort in fusioning these two together. Basically, what we are seeing right now is there's a lot of industry expertise like yours and all the teams, but the people who develop computer vision, work on data analysis, doesn't have that domain expertise. So bringing that domain expertise to us who want to develop the AI/ML in terms of our core technology areas, we need that collaboration to happen. Like you said, I think it should start at the college level. It should start at the university level. We are also collaborating with some educational institutions to try to see the civil engineering and architectural teams or the students come together with the computer vision and AI teams so that they can brainstorm and try to bring together both the domains together so that the adaptability of the AI and computer vision can actually go into the domain. Otherwise what will happen is we're developing in silo and the needs of the industry is different. Then the bridge is never going to come together if we are constructing from both the sides.
Absolutely.
It's not going to come together as one. Instead, we are parallelly developing two different knowledge bases, and those knowledge bases has to come together as one library. So that, having said that, I'll share my screen to give a little bit of insight. I will basically skip some of these slides. Having said that, the main important thing that I want to touch upon is AI ML is basically data driven, right? We need to have a lot of data to understand what exactly we want to achieve. Primarily, if you see, we are from the computer vision. So our vision is through the cameras. What we see and what we perceive through the cameras is what our algorithms analyze in the back end to give a meaningful outcome so that that can be used by the prospective users. So if you take that as a data as the basis, we are a subset of that data, our AI industry, AI knowledge base. So our area is basically computer vision. So based on the computer vision, we do the analysis of the images, we do analysis of the videos, either live or processed videos. So this was actually developed primarily for the surveillance industry. Okay, so initially most of it is developed in the surveillance industry, but that is now expanding into construction, expanding into retail, expanding into many different domains where the vision is available, where the cameras are available, and taking that camera data, we take it to the next step. Having said that, in the construction management, we have site monitoring, progress tracking, safety management, quality control, asset protection, and productivity improvement. All these can be achieved with the help of existing cameras, or the cameras that can be reinforced, or the drone footage, or the cameras that are mounted on the top of the cranes, which are downward looking. Like you said, Jatin, it can be a regular camera, or it can be a lidar camera, or there are cameras that are coming up now with the depth information, which can create a 3D grid, and that analyzed by my algorithms can be processed and sent to BIM or downstream systems. So the downstream systems can take these 3D models that are captured out of the grid cameras, and that can be further analyzed or used as digital twin, or it can be processed in your BIM and take it further. So if you see in the technology stack, computer vision is one of the areas. The other areas are NLPs, audio analysis, and drone image and speech recognition. All these are different specialized areas, and we are primarily focused on the computer vision and some parts of data analysis. See, the data is audio analysis. The audio is also very important because a lot of things that come from the site have different kind of audio footprints. Those audio footprints can be analyzed and further processed by the algorithm and can be sent to the downstream systems to take it. So if you see the applications, the compliance checks, defect inspections, process validations, PPE detections, facial recognition, all these can be done with the computer vision. And every aspect of this can be sent to an external system, which can actually take this input. Before that, we process these analysis and then give you meaningful insights and meaningful data so that your downstream system can take it further and then take it forward. Like the defect inspections, like when you are laying the tiles, and if the tiles are different shape, and then some anomaly is there, the mobile cameras, which can be mounted on tripods with 360 degrees view, can be positioned where these works are happening. And that data can be analyzed by our algorithms and can be sent if there is any defect implementation was going on, so that it doesn't take much time to come back and then redo it. It reduces a lot of your rework. And I want to skip this because you already mentioned about it. So the use cases in the construction is implementation of PPE detection. This is one of the very important thing, and first and primary and foremost requirement that comes from all the construction sites is PPE detection, because most of the time the prevention of the accidents can happen with the PPE enforcement. And 25% is what the industry has estimated. If you properly implement the computer vision, you can reduce 25% of the workplace accidents. That's what the assessment was done in last couple of years. And like I said, 30% of the decreasing in rework. If you utilize the lidar cameras, and if you utilize the regular cameras, and then try to analyze those with the algorithms and send that back to the your downstream BIM systems. This is some of the things that you already mentioned. What I would like to emphasize on specific is a lot of this data is required to do our modeling. AI cannot do anything unautomated without having the data being processed and learned. So there is a supervised learning of the data that comes in, and unsupervised learning. automated learning that happens. So right now, currently, the industry is at the stage where we need to analyze the data manually. So a lot of these data that comes from your, work sites and other places, our labeling teams do the annotations and do the system training in the back end and say, this is the use case that you are looking at. And once this is trained to the algorithm, this algorithm is going to do this specific thing and they give you the output. Like, the PPE kits, you cannot have the PPE kit generalized to every work site because the color, pattern, and the helmets are all different in each site. And computer vision cannot, automatically detect a different kind of a model that is there in the, in the local site. So we do the system training for each kind of those PPE kits. And once it is done, if it is standardized, that's why when we go to our customers, we request them saying that if you have 40 sites, you kind of like, standardize your PPE kit so that once we train, we don't need to retrain for the other 39 sites, right? So that reduces our workload, the cost of building these models, and also the implementation speed can happen very fast and quick. So that's the collaboration we need in terms of doing all this work. Because AI, as I said, it cannot happen automatically today. It may in another decade, but we still have to have a long way for that. Looking at this kind of a thing, you can mount cameras on the cranes, you can mount cameras on the drones, on the helmets, and every possible way these can be brought into one single platform and then do the analysis and give you the meaningful insights. This is what I mentioned about the construction progress and construction anomalies detection. The crane mounting can be done from the top LiDAR cameras, which will give you the exact depth information and how much of the work progress is happening. And that laying of the tiles with the mobile cameras, analyzing that and then seeing if everything is being done together or not. Some of these things that we see in the security is like large pits when they are there in the construction site, they pose a lot of issues for the site workers. So those we do take input from the cameras, and the cameras can actually trigger the hooter or alarm, whatever is required on the site to alert them. Not only this, we have also implemented one of the sites where top-down looking camera from the crane, when it is moving side to side while carrying the load, it also have a field of view on the bottom where this material can fall. So if there is a human being under that, in that field of area, we automatically, switch on the hooter alerting them saying that there is a overhead load that is moving around on the top. So these kind of things can actually prevent the injuries and prevent loss of life, and also help in terms of improving the productivity, speed up the work areas. We've done a lot of work in AI in terms of understanding many things like crack detection and bolts, rusted bolts, nuts. When the drone goes up and down, we can actually analyze with the what kind of nuts and bolts are there, if they are rusted, if they are in are there no nuts and bolts are there in some of the areas which can pose a risk. So many of these things can be trained to the algorithm and also can be deployed. Like I said, if the standardization comes from the customer, if they have multiple sites, that actually reduces a lot of effort in terms of our implementation, and then it becomes speed up. Some of these things are, very real-time live use cases where you have vehicle movement, you have generators, you have fences. All these things can be monitored without human intervention. If there is anomaly detected, if there is any rule violation detected, like removing the generator from that place, or there is a fence cut, removed, or if the vehicles are going opposite direction in the site, all these things can be on a real-time alert given to these concerned people. And they can actually prevent these from, having any accidents or any theft or any removal of the material. So, like I said, productivity can be monitored and improved with the computer vision. Having said that, the data is required. I keep on mentioning that data is required. So, that's the key for all our, accuracies. That's the key for all our efficiencies in terms of how we give you the insight. That data, if we analyze, we can actually replicate that and then give the algorithm a much higher accuracies. Like I said, there's unstructured data for the what we can do for the predictive analytics, and a lot of times you have data that is available, which is getting increased year on year, 60 to 80%. That unstructured data is available. We process that on a year on year basis, and then each year we're actually improving our efficiencies. We have seen this. Sometimes we get less data, but sometimes we are getting much more than what we expected. That's because of the customers providing the data. And like you mentioned, Jatin, the security of the data is very important for us and also for our customers. We actually localize that for the customer's sake, that we don't use that data for somebody else, but the models are in the back end, which actually are not real data, but it is actually processed data, which doesn't have any real input. Like, say, for example, simple example of facial recognition. We take the 175 points on the faces as a vector points, but the real picture is not there in the database. So you don't have your face in the database as a picture, but there are points that are there, which we reconstruct in terms of understanding how the facial movements are there, how the behavioral movements are there, but we don't use the real pictures. Exactly the same scenario with the site data. Site data, we take it, but we don't have the real data in that. I mean, real images in that or real videos in that. We actually process backend models, and those models are being kept in the library so that it can be used further. Anyway, this is our 4 pillars. I just want to skip because we have a large platform that we have built, right from streaming cameras from the site to our cloud, to analyze that, and then protection of the security of the data. All these are very well secured for the last 1 decade. We are started working on AI in 2014. It's been 10 years. For a decade we have been working on it. So we secure pretty much most of the concerns that Jatin always brings up. Those are all secured and then kept. That's all from my side, Jatin.
I think
Hi, Dominic.
very well communicated and very well established PPT slides for the thing. It's just such a vast field that doing a justice in 15-20 minutes is possibly not available. But yes, a lot of work is happening in this field, and let me assure you that a lot of companies in the country today are coming together to see that we give the best. There are very nice questions, Shri. I think one of the question, Dominic, do you want me to ask Shri about how do you think that 25% of reduction in workplace accident is happening? So Shrini, your views, and then I'll also add to that pointers.
So this is, I'll take it with bit of pinch of salt. So it can be sampled in few of the sites, but it may not be on the maximum sampling done. But this is the generalized statement. That's why when I mentioned that 25%, I said like it's kind of little generalized statement, right? So,
Yeah.
but if it is properly implemented, what we have seen, Jatin, like it also acts as a deterrent, because on a daily basis, if somebody is violating that, your your site supervisors are alerting them. That actually acts as a deterrent on a daily basis, and then makes them compulsion in terms of going for using those PPE kits and other things. Other things are, opposite direction of the vehicle. Some of the vehicles that are stopped under the, moving material. And like I said, the, top-down looking cameras that actually alerts the workers that are down below in the field of view of the material falling. All these things coupled together, definitely it makes a good impact. And I request, the industry community to do their own analysis after implementing. And the 25% and our 50% or 100% is what we desire, but whatever happens, it's actually improvement in 1% by 1%.
I think just to add
Srini,
to
can you unscreen you can unshare the PPT so that we can get all the speakers
yeah,
image.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where
Down,
just
down.
just stop sharing.
stop sharing? All right. Okay, I did.
So just to
Yeah.
add to what Srini mentioned, I think the at the sites, most of our sites have one or two safety engineers or safety supervisors at site. It might be a million square feet or half a million square feet site. I'm just talking about real estate projects, right? It's
Correct.
humanly not possible for that gentleman to keep going around into various locations and keep blowing his whistle and stopping the work. And most of the project teams don't like the works to get stopped because it has its added cost. But what we're trying to say here is by using this kind of technology, it becomes what Srini mentioned is a deterrent. The worker himself comes to know that his views are being recorded, and he will be pulled up if he's not wearing a safety harness. So today, uh, every life saved is the most critical point at any of the sites. So that's where what we are trying to say, that it's a phenomenal implication of having this kind of algorithm driven, because if someone, you can see that someone is still wearing a safety harness but he has not buckled it in the right fashion, so algorithms
Yeah.
are being written that how to buckle it. And more the data starts coming in, more this will become effective. I hope we are able to answer your question.
Yeah.
Dominic, you want to take the next one?
Jatin, just before you take the question, I would urge, we have a very good, participants, so I would urge people to post your questions because I could see questions coming on the chat box, but if you can put it on the Q&A box because this will go on recording. We can take it up in the future also. So I would request everyone to post your questions into this. So I will take the questions because there are questions to you, Jatin, and to question to Srini. So it is a little better that I could ask, I become moderator so that I
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
a better
100%.
Arnab Goswami in this session. So, so I'll take, Monish Gulati is asking, Srini, how can you use AI position? Before even I ask you a question, one thing what I noticed, any accident at the site, any incident, that can stop the entire project for a period because you need to investigate the accident. Entire project delays just because ignorance and probably over confident, not wearing safety belt and all that, so it can cause delay the whole project. I will take up first question from Mahesh, asking, can we use GIS and drone for measurements, especially in high-rise building? For you, Jatin, because you are handling so many large projects with the high-rise building.
So today drones are being utilized even to measure how much of site excavation has happened. So how we do it, I'll just explain you that we fly the drones and we take the contours at every 1 meter level, right? And instead of 2 meter levels, and you take the measurements of that contour at that. And with that, you figure out and you do a draw mapping on, and you do what is the actual excavation which should happen based on the contour levels. It is no more a manual thing. The software is able to generate how much of excavation has to happen. You have to just input certain parameters, and then at every stage we start doing a measurement, and that measurement is also as coming out as accurate as possible based on various formulas which are available in the market. So yes, it is possible right from starting to the excavation, the amount of excavation is to happen, to the phenomenal level of work which is happening even at the agricultural level, right? It's not just related to our industry. So there are softwares like globe mapper, there is softwares like drone deploy, there's softwares like precision mapper, and there is a software like DJI Terra. All these are doing phenomenal work in this field. And yes, as Srini mentioned, more and more data starts coming in, more and more we start moving into a self analytics. It's going to be the future, and moving forward. Yeah, over to you,
So the
Dominic.
question from uh, Hemant, sir, you mentioned about computer vision in construction management. What should be the hardware requirement to implement computer vision in site like camera, processor? Over to Srini.
So, see, for us, the view of the area is very important to analyze, right? So, position of the camera is very critical for us in terms of getting the feed. So we actually, as a team, support the customer in terms of positioning the cameras and also giving the field of view of those cameras. But you need to have those cameras. A lot of times these sites doesn't have power, direct power connectivity and also the internet connectivity. If we want to do all these in the cloud processing, right, we need to have this data that video goes live into the cloud so that we can algorithms can run. AI cannot be run on small machines. We don't prefer running the AI on cameras because cameras have very low footprint GPU infrastructure. So our algorithms need a GPU infrastructure on the cloud or GPU infrastructure on the site. We prefer to keep it in the cloud. And most of these sites that are there in the urban centers, what we have seen is good connectivity is available. And our team provide in terms of temporary power and temporary pole or temporary installations. And then those cameras will be moved around in the site a lot of times because the equipment and everything will be moving around. So we have different kind of models. We have also given a PTZ camera that is mounted reverse on a tripod, which can be put on the floor, and it gives you a 360 degrees of the view of the laying of the tiles or plastering that is happening. So there is a different kind of scenario, different kind of position of the cameras need to be done. And that's the collaborative effort that we have to do along with the customers. No fixed camera can be permanent in the construction site because the dynamic nature of the construction that happens. So we do request and then work very collaboratively with the teams that are there on the ground.
So thank you, Srini. The question to Jatin by Tejvir Singh. How zero defect construction can be ensured?
So zero defect construction is I would be very we are also trying to reach to that level, but it's not to me, it's not, we are not still there. We are very far away from there. So, uh, but we are trying to make an attempt to see that how we can reduce the defects at site during construction. How is that currently? Whatever work is happening is on post implementation of the works, which is like finding a fault before the next trade takes over. A construction industry has multiple trade packages, right? And everyone is dependent on each and everyone. As most important trade packages, civil engineering, where the tolerance limits are important to be understood. So before even maybe the next or the next lab is casted, if you are able to, with this vision, able to understand and analyze whether my verticality of the columns are right, or verticality of the core walls are right, or the location, in even the impact, or the, sometimes I've seen the the cutouts being shifted or changed, right? But with this kind of scanning which you're doing at site, you can understand where exactly is the location of the cutout. So we are trying to do a post-mortem as of now. I would like to say to you, rather than doing a pre-mortem. That will also be possible, possibly once we start doing the scannings during the shutting itself, which is happening. So currently we have not done that, but as and when we move to a level where shutterings can be also scanned, or the reinforcement can be scanned, and every of the reinforcement bars can be checked, then we will really move to that level. But zero defect is currently something we have to all work together on. What I would say is, the more and more of such kind of cases will happen, the contractors will also start visualizing that they also need to gear up to a location, or so that it helps them also to reduce the cost, and eventually it will we will walk that path. But it's a work in progress, just to answer you, Tejendra.
So Rajan Subramani is adding a point here. He says, "Thank you for your inputs on reduction of workplace accident. Again, it will be used as a postmortem. Only comes to my mind. Yes, one more, we can take the details of details from the system to elaborate our safety persons not to arrest from the site in case there's an accident because of unsafe action or behavior. Okay." Now, next question is our Baveja, our chapter active chapter in Mumbai. He's saying is, are there any solar-based self-powered camera which can move around the site, and you don't need to power it from the raw power. So, is that possible, Srini?
Absolutely possible, and there are a lot of improvements coming up from our collaborative OEMs on the solar powered equipment. Also with a SIM card, also with external attachments. Some of them are very convenient for taking the live stream and create a live analysis and reporting real time to the required teams. So that equipment is already getting available, and there is a lot more happening in the industry, in the camera industry, which we are also looking at. So that developments are happening, Dominic, with a lot of speed, and we are trying to catch up with the camera industry. They are at much faster pace.
Yeah, of course. And the question to Jatin by Raunak Raj Purohit is asking, what is the use of virtual reality cameras in construction management?
I Thanks Dominic for this question. Ronak, I just touched base during my presentation about the fact that AR VR has changed the real estate landscape quite a lot, and I touched base as an example of what L&T is doing at the Chennai side. But primarily with the AR VR, you can now with your BIM model, you can generate a BIM model, have your AR VR glasses on, and then call all the consultants to the site, walk the entire site along with all the consultants, and element by element, area by area, instead of just looking at a BIM model and trying to buy a BIM operator or trying to analyze it. Here, it's a design meeting which is virtually happening wearing a AR VR glass to understand how each element is going, where is my service going, at what line and level my services are going. Next level of clash detection during the design team meeting itself can happen. More importantly, the consultants need not really walk into and do a physical meeting. They can be at various sites and they can do it accordingly. The other option or other module where I can physically see it being adopted is by when the project manager at site doesn't really understands that why I'm doing this cutout here. He opens up a drawing on his notepad, wears his AR VR glasses, goes to the BIM model physically, and sees how my pipes is going to run, how my ducts are going to run, where is my spacing of happening. So then accordingly he can raise an alarm that either the my shaft sizes looks to be small from a maintenance perspective, or he understands and gives the instructions to the contractor that this is how your installation of the pipe has to happen. This is exactly how and where your support is going to come in. This is how your duct has to be installed. So there are various opportunities which we have at site, Ronak, and I'm sure we will do it. We will be there. You'll see some of those adoptions happening very early on in our sites.
So, question to Srini. How can you use AI for positioning of CCTV in a building or campus? AI for positioning of CCTVs.
Yeah, positioning.
Positioning, before you install, how do you use AI? I don't know. I really don't understand
No,
the
no.
question.
Maybe the question is related to get better utilization of the view of the cameras. I think this goes back to the same question earlier, which was, how do you position the cameras for the field of view so that you get optimum, vision, so that you do the analysis. That's one of the very, very, very critical and key element in, doing the AI analysis for the computer vision. If your cameras are positioned wrongly, 45 degrees tilt, and occulsions, there are a lot of shades, and there is a lot of kind of obstructions, then obviously you will not be able to get much of utilization with the AI. So I think that's one of the very key area. First we go see the site, we analyze it, and then mark up all the places where specific use cases require specific kind of a positioning of the cameras. Like simple example, facial recognition. I cannot do facial recognition, nor I support in terms of recommending a ceiling mount camera for doing facial recognition. That too in a construction area. If you are having 500 workers that are coming through, and if you want to do facial recognition for them for the attendance, we always look for a 5 feet height, straight looking camera so that they are just looking into the camera and walking inside. And I take that information and do the attendance and, count the people. So similarly, like for the vehicles, where the vehicle movement is there, we need to have a proper field of view so that vehicle in and out are counted properly. For number plate detection, I cannot put a top-down camera, so it has to be at a 4 feet height. All these things come as a analysis. So that is why we always request saying that before you give us the use cases, allow us to visit the site so that we have understanding, and then you let us sit in a room and then start working on what are the kind of use cases that you need.
So the last question from my side, Jatin, for you. Okay, you said when you started architecture, when you started project, you had a draftsman, you had a draftsman board, then came AutoCAD and all that. So you have seen the evolution on project management, and even I attended a lot of site meeting. When it comes to safety, we are the people who call last. They call be attend by 10 o'clock, but end up asking 15 minutes question at the end of the day. I think there's a lot of improvement in even in that. Who should be the priority in the site meeting, who should be given more important. But coming to my question to you, because you're seeing evolution, what do you see the role of AI, ML evolving the construction industry over next 5 to 10 years? What do you see? Because you've seen in the past and you're seeing the current. What do you see the next 5 to 10 years, the role of AI and ML?
I think Srini touched base a lot of important point here that we are currently under a feeding of lot of data from various sites and collection of the data so that we are making our tools more and more powerful. So that analytics is going to take a lot of leaps and bounds, to in next coming, I would say 3-4 years time. We are already there. So that's one which I mentioned about that data is a goal today. Data mining and data analytics is the next level. Second, a larger thing for me, and which is very personally very nice for me, which is happening is I see a lot of civil engineers with computer science background coming and joining the real estate firm and actually wanting to be part of the construction management rather than sitting in the AC office because they see that they are learning something. You can understand that ISB is doing a course on this. IIMs are doing a course on this on real estate specifically. So you can understand that IIMs and ISBs are like for us. One of the torchbearers on education level, right? So you can understand if they have designed a course which is associated with the real estate and which is associated with AI and ML, you can understand how the trends are picking up. So this is going to be, we have something which is called mega trends which are happening. So this is one of the trends which is going to come up in future. Third important aspect is because of the time gap when we passed out of our engineering courses, a lot of good quality civil engineers and good quality supervision teams not being available at site, right? So with this help, our supervision levels are going to go up leaps and bounds, and you will start seeing a lot of defect detections happening much earlier in the project, not at the fag end of the project when you actually move into a commissioning stage. And that time is a big time loss. So if you do something which is immediate, you can rectify the things immediately and you can save a lot of time. So a lot of time which goes on testing and commissioning, which takes about 3 to 4 months to do a proper testing and commissioning, can be further squeezed to a 2 months or a 1 month scenario. So these are and many more things are happening, I would say. It doesn't mean that we are all going to be shelled off our jobs which we are doing, but I would say a lot of participation happening together, and more of youngsters coming into this who have brilliant minds. These guys are brilliant minds, and and for us, I'm now at 50. For me, at least, every day I learn something new by talking to these youngsters because you get good ideas about it, that how we can all together work and improve our industry. So that's where we are, Dominic.
Again, question to you, Jatin. What if architect or a project manager not willing to change, not willing to adopt the technology like AI and ML, and they stick on to the conventional method of managing the project? And what is your message to the youngster? What kind of skill for the future construction manager is needed to effectively leverage the AI enablement. So, two, one for the what do you call uh, maybe the architect who are 60, 70, how do they really need to change to catch up to the current time? And what is your message to the youngsters?
My messaging is very clear, Dominic. If we don't adopt technology and we remain fearful of technology, we are history, right? We are virtually history. We will not be today. If you can, adopt technology to order your food with help of a Swiggy, which is also an app, right? Or a Blinkit to look at your daily modules, or go to an app to figure out which restaurant is going to give me a discount. You can very well do a technology adoption in your workplace also. If you don't do it, mark my words, we are history. So that's why we have to change. A change is very difficult. Change is always a problem for a lot of people, but if you don't change, you are not going to be in the industry. So messaging is very clear around that. Second is a youngster. I think youngsters are smarter than us. Youngsters know exactly what they want and how things move, because of a lot of data is available for them. We didn't have that kind of data during our coming days, but today the data is available. There are, because of this data, the lot of the way they analyze the data is also changed, and plus they're talking to their peers and peers. So in this industry, again, as I mentioned earlier, it is the future. Be open to learning new things. Be open to not only just be stuck to the computers, but also go to the site, dirty your hands, dirty your legs, and figure out how actually a concreting happens. Understand from a supervisor how a shuttering is happening, and that's not something which you should not feel that it is not my job. If you don't understand how physically your work is actually happening, you will not be able to analyze it back and use your power to make it a better thing. So it's a mix of both things which has to happen together. It's difficult, but please make an attempt around it. I still like to take my prints. I still like to go through my document line by line. I cannot read it on the system, unlike my son who hates taking a print. But I am that person who feels that if I read it by taking a print, or I sketch it, a sketch a drawing, it makes me more interesting, and then I obviously switch over to the technology. But a mix of both is required, I would say. And a lot of good civil engineers, a lot of technical people like Srinivas are there, who are experts in their domain. We should hear from Srini a lot more. Srini can teach you quite a number of amazing things of what and how he has developed Durang as a company. And again, he started from scratch. It was not that someone gave it to him. He started from scratch, and today he is doing amazing work, which we saw in his presentation. So a mix to learn from people like Srini, to apply yourself what you learned in college, do great courses, and go to the site and dirty your hands and legs. That's the most important message for youngsters. Yeah, Dominic.
I'll take on last question to Srini. You have seen most of the site, most of the project have hardware cameras everywhere. They use. With your experience, how much do really they use it for what do you call enhanced safety in the constructions? How do they use? Do they really use AI in that side, or just use camera just to build a fear among the workers there? You've been watched. Are they really using for safety, to enhance the safety at the construction site, Srini?
Uh, if I need to be brutally frank on it, most of these sites are basically fit with cameras that are post-mortem analysis. If at all, if they are connected to a storage device, a lot of times we have seen our team also goes and does the risk assessment and then analysis of the existing infrastructure. So I mean CCTV infrastructure. So what we have seen is a lot of times these cameras are put as deterrent, so that people are cautious about doing things, but they are not connected. We have seen some places, they are connected, but not maintained. So, Dominic, currently the scenario is a lot of good implementations are going on. I don't want to discount that. The lot of adaptation is happening, but coming to the AI, there is very limited kind of utilization right now. There's a reason for that too. I don't want to blame the industry for it. There is still both sides need to understand it properly. Like I said, this knowledge has to be a fusion knowledge. That's why I said, like when Jatin was mentioning about the students need to be trained, we all need to invest in these universities and colleges and go back and say, architecture engineer, a civil engineer, and the AI engineer has to sit together and then they start brainstorming, right? For that, we need to invest. Otherwise, these parallel roads cannot go for long. These need to merge and then go together. Like you asked the implementation of the cameras, right? There is an intention of the management, or there's an intention to prevent these accidents, right? That's the end of the day, human life. Whether you take it, Dominic, in your fire industry or our, the other industries, it's end of the day. Our goal is to prevent the accident, prevent and also safeguard the people. The intention is good, but sometimes what happens, the implementation, there are lacunas, there are like faults in those. That we need to readjust our focus in terms of how we actually mitigate the implementation faults. Then automatically the end purpose is achieved. So, like I said, 25% can be reduced, or 100% need to be reduced. Yes, we need to reduce 100%. The fire accident, the life lost in the fire accident, if 100% can be reduced, that, hey, we are the best, right? So it's not realistic to do that sometimes, but these cameras need to be positioned properly, need to be connected properly, data need to be secured properly, and cyber security has to be implemented on top of it so that there is no data theft, and on top of it you need to analyze that data. So all these things has to come together. You cannot just silo implementation and say, well, I have done the silo implementation and it is going to prevent the accident. It will not happen like that. We need to do a lot of more beyond that.
Okay, now two more questions to Jatin. As-built drawing, Bhavija sir is asking, as-built drawing is always a challenge at the end of any project. Any suggestion in this regard by use of AI and ML?
So AI and ML will not play a very important role in as-built drawing, but what Shri spoke about, computer vision and capturing of the data. So as soon as a structure is completed or a piece of work is completed, by using a lidar camera or the scanning, which actually we are doing for a lot of our clients now, with the help of lidar camera, which is a handheld device, you can create a as-built condition drawing where, especially for the structures where there were no drawings which were available, the heritage structures or the old structure. And today also a lot of industrial structures don't have a drawings which are available. So this is a great field of work which a lot of companies have got into it. We are also doing it as part of my team, which does this work of as-built creation. And you can scan not only the architectural elements, you can scan the structural elements there. You can also scan the what you call the MEP services which are visible. The current issues with the as-built generation currently is that whatever is visible can only be captured in a camera. Whatever is hidden cannot be captured in a camera. So you have to. It's a mix of an engineering team which will also visualize that if X is the dia of the pipe on a visual thing, the hidden vertical which is behind, as an example, a simple thing like a toilet. If there's no ceiling, you can know exactly what is the dia of the pipe there. But when it comes to the walls where the hidden services are there, you need an engineering mindset to come in and say that, okay, look, there seems to be, and then you can do a thermography on those walls to figure out if there is a water pipeline going or not, or whether there's electrical current which is running on that wall, and create the path of the services on that wall. And with the engineering mind in place, create a size of the dia of the pipe, or the dia of the conduit which is running on the walls to take those cables. So it's going to be a challenge, but whatever is visible is very well captured with the cameras currently. But while talking to you on this subject, maybe after 5 years, 6 years, more engineering inputs and data start coming in, the AI can throw up the hidden, possible configuration of the lengths of the pipes and the dials of the pipe as well, based on the data which can be captured. But that's hopefully we will be there since in a couple of years there. But this is what we can generate, and a lot of companies today need this data, sir. Yeah.
No, as we know, two presentations are nice, very nice, but the kind of questions I'm getting on WhatsApp, I'm getting from here and there, look like it's quite, and I'm also nice to see people are still, remaining. We are just crossed 1 hour 30 minutes. I'll just take last question to you, Jatin. Again, more related to our focus, vision and mission. There is saying, what ways can AI and ML improve sustainability and environmental impact in construction projects?
Yeah, so I spoke about softwares, which in my link is there on the video. I mean, you will get the PPT if Dominic shares it, that also on the link. But if you Google it today, with the help of generative designs, you can actually figure out what material you should procure and at which length it is coming from. So the data input about the more and more the vendors start sharing the data, as Srini was mentioning, about the source of production, about the source of collection, and about the source of distribution. This data will start giving up and throwing up that, look, you should buy this wood from this vendor which is available at 50 meters or 50 kilometers radii, and not buy from someone which is at a 300 kilometers radii, right? So what does that mean? You're getting the same specification, you're getting the same material, you're getting the same quality, but from a vendor which is closer to your home, and not from a vendor which is far away from your home. So the cost of transportation and obviously the carbon consumption is coming down. You're creating more of a sustainable impact on the way the construction is happening. That can go, imagine the kind of level which you can go down to. You can go down to the level of aggregates, sand, steel, cement, furniture, doors, light fixtures. So you need not rely on someone to come from China. You can say that, okay, this factory can consume, is able to produce the same light bulb for you, so you will order it from there, right? So this is how you will also contribute to become making the environment more sustainable. So that's one way of it. Second is selection of the material, which the analytics can throw you that, okay, this material is produced based on this much of carbon consumption, which was calculated backend. So against that, use this material, which is a low carbon consuming material. So then you are consuming slowly the materials which are consuming less power, less energy while they were manufactured, and that's why you're creating a sustainable environment. This will also make the vendors to think about it. Today, a lot of vendors are unorganized, but vendors will also start talking about this from that perspective. So a lot of work is, again, as I mentioned, can happen, has a platform, has an avenue, a landscape to happen, is happening, but a lot more has to be done to bring everything on the table. So yeah, Dominic.
Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Jatin. A lot of congratulatory messages, appreciation messages coming on the chat box. Yes, it's a very unique webinar that you seen, that too on Sunday. Very relaxed. There's no pressure from the office to attend another meeting. You don't have a visitor waiting at the reception to attend. So I feel it's nice, relaxed. It's more like a chat session. I think I love this doing on Sunday. Peaceful. My family anyway is out, so I'm also quite at peace to do this webinar. And we have two very important webinars coming up. Uh, Facade. How do you design and implement resilient facades? So we have a very fantastic speaker coming up. So I have mentioned the date and time that we'll be doing on resilient facade, designing resilient. Very interesting topic. Another topic that we are discussing is again on AI and ML coming up. I'll just run through that. I hope you can see the link given on the chat box there. And again, we are doing on fire rated ducts. What is fire rated ducts? So we are talking about choosing the right ducts and to check whether it is a fire rated ducts. Both, it can be a smoke duct or ventilation ducts. So if you see, look at focus, it's completely different society when you see the existing society. I introduced a focus in the beginning. Okay, there are professional societies like ISHRE, HASHRE, and all that. They're there. Focus is like integration. It's a tool for all of us to come together. They do their work, their society, which is very focused and all that. We complement. Unless you don't integrate these, and you don't have professionals who can talk about integrating and present it to the user. So user need to know how do we integrate, how do we get the maximum best result out of all these services. So I would urge all my friends who are joined in today to join Focus. Our website is www.ourfocus.co. Just go in and you can see all the vision and mission, and then you can see who are the founders and members, and it's just 1,000 rupees a member if you're an individual want to take up an individual membership. So I would urge uh, to come handhold us and be part of all these technology talks and all that. I want to thank our knowledge partner, Durang. I'm sure, Srini, you also enjoyed along with Jatin. Every webinar is a learning, not as a speaker. Everybody, it's a learning process. So I'm sure you will interact more with Jatin over the time. And yeah, I know Srini is from Hyderabad and Jatin is in Bangalore. I'm from Bangalore. Meet us whenever you are in Bangalore. Let's see what else we can discuss on this webinar, and which can be useful to all our members. So thank you so much for joining, all the participants, being Sunday. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any reservation having this on Sunday, please ping me. If you really enjoy, so that next session also can be on Sunday. If nobody likes it on Sunday, then we push it on working days. So let me hear out whether it's good or not good to have it on Sunday. And join us and have a wonderful week with family. Enjoy your lovely lunch. We almost another 30 minutes for 1 o'clock. Jatin, sorry, I'm disturbed your family, in a gathering today, and
No,
you're
no.
sitting. I'm sure they don't curse you, again, sitting in front of the PC. Srini, I know your daughter from
Right.
US is with you. Have a wonderful day today. And I look forward to see you again. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Bye-bye.
much,
Dominic.
Dominic.
It was very nicely moderated, Dominic. Thank you so much. And thank you to
Thank
all
you.
the participants who have still stayed with us. It was a
Thank you.
learning.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Srini, looking forward to meet you. Thank you. Bye bye,
Sure.
guys.
Thank you.
Same here, Jatin. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Jatin. Thank
Bye.
you, Dominic.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.